So that war began in 1976. It's always been going on, but I mean, once he came in flesh, you know, Obama came 15 years before 1961. And that's why in 1960s, if you pay attention, everything was in black and white. And then going into the 70s came the color, like late 60s, 70s came the color TV. Because, you know, they already know we was going from that black and white, that masonry, you know, that black and white checkerboard, into working their way into the living color. Because they already knew the Messiah was here. So that's why they had to use their rainbow for LGBT. That's why Obama bring the LGBT rainbow, because the sodomite rainbow, you know, it goes to how they want to war against heaven with their sodomy. So they want to paint the picture, color the world themselves with wickedness. You know, you kind of see what I mean? You know, they don't want people to die into their old ways, you know, die daily, drawing closer to Christ. You kind of see what I'm saying? It's all connected. That's why they had that song by Logic, I Don't Want to Die Today, with Kara singing through the mirror. And the song was about sodomy, you know? So all of that stuff comes together. Well, it has sodomite connections, but, you know. So that's what it all goes into, that living, you know, on the other side of the rainbow, you know, like the Wizard of Oz. So, you know, as we know, the word monster is very important because, you know, that word monster, the star, you know, the Monstar, let's talk about all of this. It's very important. So that whole thing with a monster goes into like the morning star, the Monstar. So I'm going to get into it right quick because, you know, Christ is the four beasts as well, you know, on the right-hand side. You know, he's the flying eagle, the lion of Judah, the son of man, the royal bull. And then, you know, Lucifer on the duality side, on the wicked dark side, you know, he's the man, you know, he's the beast out to sea. You know, he's the lion who's seeking who he may devour. You know, he's the bird that no man can sway away. You know, he's the Moloch bull. You kind of see what I mean? So it's all, everything comes together, you know, so it's all duality. So that monster is dealing with which monster do you follow? That's why they got that under that monsters in my bed. You know, that's why they always try to say, I'm a monster. You know, Eminem, I'm a monster, you know, or Big Sean, he say, I'm a monster. I belong in District 9. You know, they want to be a monster because they serve Lucifer, but Lucifer is the great imitator anyway. So that means they want to just be Christ. They want to be the Lion of Judah, be their own God. You kind of see what I mean? So that's how that all works. That's what that monster comes from. So it's that morning star. Christ is the morning star, and then Lucifer is the star or the son of the morning, you know? So that's why Lulu on that power was talking about giving him some space when he looked in that mirror, because, you know, that space goes to that Star Wars that came out in 1976. You know, Luke Skywalker. You know, they want people to follow that Luke. Watch him walk the skies. You know, they already know they was going to try to let people, they was going to go into the rapture ideal, keep pushing the rapture talk because they knew Messiah was coming in flesh. So they want people still looking at the sky, watching Luke, the false Luke, walk the skies in heaven instead of knowing that the Messiah was coming from heaven onto earth to save us. You kind of see what I mean? So that's why they got the women deceived, and, you know, they looking up, they don't need a head, they don't need a man in their life, and vice versa. Men with, no, I don't need a wife. You know, they just looking up to all they do is follow Bill, get their dollar bills. You know, they follow the false Bill. That solves your problem. You know, don't worry about following the real William. You know, Bill is just short for William. So don't worry about, just get your money, get your bills, pay your bill, and you will be fine. You don't need a wife you don't need a wife as your strength, or woman. You don't need a man as your head. You don't need, you know, the headship. You don't need Christ in your life. Just look up to the sky and pray. Don't worry about, you know, you don't need a man because, you know, the Messiah on earth and flesh. So you just reject that. You hate people. I don't like people. You know, and the Messiah walking in the earth and flesh, but you don't like people and you don't need a man in your life. Or, man, I don't need a woman, you know. And that's how they do. And they got people just looking up to the skies, praying. I get this degree. I pray I get this, you know. And God walking the earth, right